Meanwhile, earlier when I spoke to Russia's ambassador to Indonesia, Lyudmila Voro-Bieva, she explicitly stated that the Russia-Ukraine war will go on until all the targets set out by Russia will be achieved, signaling that the conflict could go on for a longer period of time. Ambassador Voro-Bieva added that it is a very complex situation and that the roots of the conflict go further than 1 year ago. Madam Ambassador, as I mentioned, February the 24th, 2023 will mark 1 year since the start of the conflict. When will the conflict end, Madam Ambassador? Will it end soon?
That's a very good question. Yeah. As any normal person, normal people, Russians also would like to see this conflict end as soon as possible, because we have no hatred against Ukrainians. As our president stated, we're not conducting a war against Ukrainian people. We don't want to see Ukrainian people suffer. We don't want to see Russian people suffer, of course. But as our president stated very clearly yesterday in his address to the parliament, that our operation will progress carefully and steadily, and all the targets set out will be achieved. So the operation will go on until all the targets that we have identified will be achieved.
Right. In terms of a peace deal, however, what are the obstacles or challenges towards that? And will we see maybe some negotiations anytime soon?
The problem is that the roots of this crisis are much deeper than just Russia-Ukrainian confrontation, and it doesn't started just 1 year ago. It's a very complex situation and not easy to resolve. And the problem is the West doesn't want this conflict to be resolved sometime soon. They want this conflict to last, and they are using Ukraine as a military instrument against Russia.
Meanwhile, Ukraine's ambassador to Indonesia, Vasyl Hamianin, rejected Russia's notion that the so-called West are using Ukraine as a proxy to fight Russia, as he said that the war has inflicted so much damage on Ukrainian people. Ambassador Hamianin also said that the war will last as long as it must and will only end once all Russian forces have left Ukrainian territory, including from Donbas and Crimea. Sort of prolonging for a longer period of time.
Well, the war will last as long as it must. Now, it's not the decision of my president, it's not the decision of my generals and the government, it's the decision of Ukrainian people. The war will last until the last Russian soldier, occupant, invader remains on my land. It will include Crimea, it will include Donbas, all of it.
Russia and President Putin have continuously said that the West does not want the war to end, and the West are using Ukraine as a proxy to prolong the conflict. What's your response to this?
Okay, if Ukraine attacked any territory, and then the West, the evil West, is like feeding up and providing weapons and all, this will be the true. But it's not Ukraine that invaded the other country. It's Russia that invaded us. And we are just resisting. We are just confronting the enemy. That's it. So what do they mean by telling that we are proxy and they don't want the war to end? I don't understand that. Because Russians are champions in propaganda and lies. They create so much sophisticated formulas, and nobody can understand that. But I mean, how can people that have the country destroyed, have the hundreds of thousands, I think, of citizens died and badly injured? How would we not want to stop the war? how do not we want to end this and go back to the peaceful life? But the problem is they don't give us the chance.